I love pork. I may be a Jew.
I
but
blew it.
I'm not a good one. I'm not a good Jew. I love my pork, and I love bacon. But
Bacon's good.
I was thinking, just how sick do you suppose people are of pork by now? I'm on Facebook a lot, and I like to see what people are talking about and all. And I've got people on there begging, anybody got new recipes, different recipes for ham? And this was like, 3-4 days after, and I'm like, you still eating that? Is it still good?
It keeps forever.
I don't think, not even in Tupperware if you burp it. I don't think it's forever.
In Tupperware, if you burp it, great.
Hey, okay, I'm showing my age. They still have Tupperware. Oh, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're all here. I really am. And I am really tickled because joining me as of tonight, is sort of my alter ego, if I were a guy.
I don't have an ego.
Yeah, yes you do. Dennis D is joining me.
Yes.
And if you used to listen to A Word to the Wise, you would remember Dennis.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And we're going to have a lot more fun now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, we're going to see, it's sort of an ongoing process tonight. As you know, my show runs from 5 to 7 p.m. right here. And tonight is also apparently a pay-per-view thing where they're showing WrestleMania.
Yes.
Which I understand in some quarters is kind of a big deal. I say it's sports, so who gives a damn, but what the hell?
No, it's sports entertainment.
I'm sorry, it's
Get it
not
right.
sports. It's not a sport. Yes, wrestling is not a sport.
If you
Guys,
talk about what
rigged.
the ending is going to be before the ending.
It's rigged.
Exactly.
It's rigged. It's all rigged. It is. And
Kind of like when George Bush got elected in office.
oh, God. It's a big deal around here. And the guys on Outlaw Radio Network
That was good.
who follow me from 7 to 11, apparently every year they have a big party and a big shindig, and they have the pay-per-view WrestleMania Nutball show. And they're off doing that. So I'm not sure if they're going to be back at this point right now to do the show live or not. If they are coming back, I'm going to be doing the first 2 hours of their show. So I'll be from 5 to 7 with my show, and then I'll be covering the first 2 hours of their show from 7 to 9. If they're coming back from 9 to 11. If there's a teensy bit too much partying going on, which is what I'm suspecting is the issue, then they will run a best of Outlaw Radio Network, and there will be nothing live from 7 to 11. So just to let you know, this is still in the air. We're still not sure, so hang with us. We'll let you know. Speaking of Facebook, Dennis, do you do Facebook? Dennis. Now see, this is my problem with the boy. He's never paying attention to me. Do you do Facebook?
Do I do Facebook? Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. I don't know. I never see you on there. You're a friend on my Facebook, but I never see you on there. I'm telling you, I'm starting to really wonder about the general intelligence level of the average American person. Now, don't get me wrong. I think individually we're all pretty freaking intelligent. I really do. Look at the things our country has accomplished, which are many and proud. However, when I look on Facebook and I see over and over and over again, people are posting things like, there's one of a fingertip, a picture of a fingertip, and there is what looks like a mosquito on their fingertip, but it's really a robot. It's a tiny, tiny robot. And if you read the article that goes with it, the text that goes with this, the CIA has developed this. And it's as small as a mosquito. And it can fly in a window, and it can get your DNA sample, and it can put a GPS tracker on you, and you never even know it. And then fly right back out the window, and you never know. And I'm like, seriously, people are going nuts.
And those are the same people that believe in anal probing by aliens too. So,
well, that has not been that has not been proven or disproven yet. Okay, but I do know for a fact this one isn't true. They show a little thing with somebody holding their fingers up like this, and there's this little like a cylinder glass, little glass vial in their fingers, and they say that this is a chip that we're supposed to all get somehow the government wants to put it in all of us so they can track us and just, be big brother to us. And yeah. No, 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 no. That's a device they're working on. It's experimental. It's a medical device to help with extremely brittle diabetics to help regulate their insulin levels. Hello. It just boggles my brain. Absolutely boggles my brain. There was a story on there this afternoon. I was actually howling. I was howling. Of a couple, very religious couple, who put their 16-year-old daughter up for adoption because she was gay. Really? No, they didn't. It's not true. It reminds me of that, that Allstate insurance commercial and the gal dating the French model. They can't put it on the internet if it isn't true. Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. I'll give you a little secret. If you see something really bizarre on the internet or something that gives you pause or something that gives you alarm on some level of your being, take a moment before you hit comment and look like an idiot. Go to a lovely little site called Snopes, SNOPES.com. They have already debunked it if it's fake. I guarantee you. And there are so many other sites you can go to, but that's a really reliable one the average person can go to most of the time and find out the truth about these things. But it just, I hate, I was thinking about this afternoon, it's really ticking me off, that the only purpose anybody could have, the only reason for posting something like this and getting people spun up like this is to incite fear. People being afraid that, yes, they really do. CIA has these little tiny mosquito robots. And, yes, they really do have these chips they want to put in. And I'm scared. And I don't want them to do this to me. No. Stop being scared. And don't let people make you scared. Good Lord. I cannot imagine the mindset behind some of these people that post this stuff. And why they would go so out of their way. And some of it is very slick. It really is. Why they would go so out of their way simply to frighten people. Now, I can see doing something outrageous on the internet to get conversation started, to get people thinking, to get people interacting with one another and exploring an outlook. I can see that. I'm absolutely positive. Everyone's shouting about the Fifth Amendment or the Second Amendment protecting their gun rights. I think it's a great amendment. It needs to be protected, but so does freedom of speech. I'm absolutely not against or not for censorship. I believe in self-censorship. And I think if you're around decent people, you should talk like a decent person. That's just me. I'm flexible. I can adapt myself to the environment with which I find myself. Yeah. Problem with that is you have to have a vocabulary to start with. Yeah. But I was thinking about it, and I was just like, why would people do something like that just to frighten people? Because that's the only reward, the only benefit of some sort that I can see anybody getting from doing something like that is the fact that you've scared people. There's enough things to be scared of in this world. Without manufacturing them. Hello, people. Nobody wants your guns. Okay? Nobody wants to take your gun. Well, okay. Nobody who has any power to do so wants your guns. Everybody and their brother on the internet is either everybody should give up the guns because nobody needs guns and the guns kill people and blah, 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 blah. And then you got the other side that, no, they're not over my dead body and, pry it from my cold dead fingers. No. Nobody who is in any position to take your guns away from you is trying to. Relax. I like my gun. I'll keep my gun. Thank you. I'm not worried about losing it. Wow. It just seems like so many people go out of their way to stir up resentment, stir up anger, stir up fear. Excuse me. I think we're beyond that. I think we should be beyond that. I think we should all be more, adult than that. That's just my opinion. But I was thinking about that today when I was going through the Facebook and I was looking at what everybody was talking about and upset about and irritated about. And unlike anybody else, I love the cute puppies and kittens and all those pictures. Those are cute, and I like, that's cute, yeah. But I got to tell you, when I come across these sites that the only purpose can be to scare people, I got to wonder. There's not a lot of, policing, we'll say, on the internet. And let's face it, most people, if you're talking the internet, you're talking Facebook nowadays. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it works. Facebook has their own Facebook police. They're really good about taking pictures down that they find offensive. And they irritated me the other day, too. There is a photo on the internet on Facebook. It comes around periodically. It's a picture of a topless woman. She has had a double mastectomy due to breast cancer. Rather than consider herself a victim, she went out and had her entire chest, as if it were sort of a little shorty sleeveless shirt, tattooed. And it's gorgeous. It comes up around the neck, and it's the whole thing. It's completely covered with tattoos. It is gorgeous. Every time this gets posted, because someone's saying promote breast cancer awareness and maybe a walk or some sort of a fundraiser that's coming up benefiting breast cancer, they'll post this to show a strong woman who's a survivor, and Facebook turns around and pulls it down because they figure it's obscene, because it shows nudity. Of what? United States Supreme Court has said that a woman's breast is not obscene. The nipple is. Now, I don't follow.
Isn't it part of the same thing?
Well, of course it's part of it. But apparently that's why women can get away with wearing pasties.
That's like saying we can't show your head because your brain is dangerous.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah. And you can, just to let you know, according to the Supreme Court, to be fair, show the other side, you can show a penis among decent folk as long as there is absolutely no, shall we say, signs of excitement. Okay? This is as mildly as I have thought about being able to put this. Okay? As long as this person is damn near comatose, you can show it. And it is not, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, obscene. Now, the only one that's pushed that one has been, of course, Playgirl magazine. Not that I've ever looked at one, although I hear the stories are very good. But yeah, I only read them for the stories.
There you go.
But I don't understand this. I don't understand this. They will pull a picture of a woman breastfeeding. Have you seen a woman breastfeed? Unless she's got a 5-foot nipple and she's got the kid out like this, you ain't seeing nothing.
Or she forgot the baby on the bus.
Oh, there you go. I'm telling you, I've breastfed 3 children. And the first baby, I was all like, oh my God, give me blankets and hoods and ponchos and cover up. I'm telling you, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. I got to wonder about these people. I really do. We're going to take a break now. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Raw Nerve. I'm Susan, and I'll see you in just a sec.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. Let me tell you why I say that I am not your average photographer. At Elaine Terso Photography, I can handle all of your photography needs, including weddings, families, and newborns. I have an in-home studio, or I am able to come to you to take photos wherever you want to be. Mention Guardian Broadcasting when you book, and I will give you a 10% discount. For more information, visit me online at ElaineTersoPhotography.com or find me on Facebook.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Hey, it's Kevin with the Outlaw Radio Network. When it came time for the guys with Outlaw Radio to get our tuxes for the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County's Raise the Roof event, we honestly had no idea where to get them. Then we found Judy at Judy's Sewing in East Bremerton. As evidenced by the name, Judy's Sewing does tailoring, alterations, and repair. She also does tuxedo rentals starting at $69, bridal party dresses for $69, and bride's dresses starting at only $189. Plus, we also learned that at Judy's Sewing, not only does she offer military members prices that are lower than they're going to find at the Navy Exchange, she also prioritizes their orders. That means if you're in the military, your needs move right to the front of the line. It's a special touch of service you can only get from a locally based business like Judy's Sewing. Judy's Sewing at the corner of Fairgrounds Road in Central Valley in East Bremerton, right near Handy Andy's. Or call Judy at 360-662-1212. 662-1212. Judy's Sewing, a local business that's proud to support her community.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. Let me tell you why I say that I am not your average photographer. At Elaine Terso Photography, I can handle all of your photography needs, including weddings, families, and newborns. I have an in-home studio, or I am able to come to you to take photos wherever you want to be. Mention Guardian Broadcasting when you book, and I will give you a 10% discount. For more information, visit me online at ElaineTersoPhotography.com or find me on Facebook.
And now we return to the Raw Nerve with your host, Susan Corcoran. See, I had to give you like some sexy music because you were talking about all that naked stuff earlier.
All that naked stuff, yeah. I'm really curious. What do you find obscene?
Obscene?
You know? Yes, what do you find obscene?
I've seen a lot of obscene things in my life.
Well, you know, the funny thing is that some people are more offended by things that they see, and other people are more offended by things that they hear.
Yes.
Okay. And this is an important distinction. Personally, I'm more offended, I think, personally by the written or the spoken or written word, simply because I love the written word. I love to read. I read all the time. I even got a Nook so that I could buy books online and share them with my daughters, one of my daughters has a Nook too, and I can share books with her. And that's a lot of fun. I love that.
Right.
That's why it offends me when people, you know, the whole go ask Obama. You know, it's a pet peeve of mine. When people talk like that, and this is not a racist thing. I've heard people say, no, you're just talking about inner city youth and, you know, gangsters and all this stuff. I'm like, no. There is a whole group, black and white, Hispanic, Asian, you name it. There's a whole group in our society that actively tries to develop this, okay? Because it's considered to be tough. It's considered to be thug. It's considered to be dangerous. No, it makes it sound like an ass. In a nutshell,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it, but it makes you sound like an ass.
True.
And I'll tell you, real power, the real power of the spoken word is when you have the ability, you have the vocabulary, you have the knowledge behind it that you can tell somebody to go to hell in such a way that they thank you on the way out the door.
Okay.
That's power.
Yeah.
That's power and that's talent. So I am offended by the butchering of the human or the written or spoken word more than I think imagery. Because imagery I can turn off, I can look away, whatever like this. I got to tell you, it makes me wonder. But people are so offended, and we live in a world or a country anymore where I swear I think there's a whole segment of society that wakes up in the morning, puts their feet on the floor, and says, what can I be offended about today?
Well, and see, I found people like that. Even though it's being offended, that's what gets them going in the morning. That's what they live for every day. Because if it wasn't for that, why do they continually keep going and to know where they know they're going to hear something that offends them, see something that offends them, or they're just that good, they are ready to be offended at any moment's notice.
Oh, I know. I don't get it.
They thrive on that mentally.
And there's so much negativity, and there's enough negativity in the world. You don't have to go out and look for it. There are people who want to be victims. There are people who want to be offended. There are people who want, they want. I can't stand it. It makes me nuts. There's enough negativity. Let's look for a little positivity, shall we? Just for a thought. God. But I see people on the internet, and it's not just Facebook, it's other places as well. And if you are easily offended, if you are remotely easily offended, stay off Facebook. Okay, it's not for you. Facebook says that it is not a site for anyone under the age of 18. Okay? You're not supposed to let your 11-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid surf Facebook and play their little games and all this, totally unsupervised, just on their own, following whatever little links they feel like. Yeah. Because some of those links will scare you to death, I guarantee you.
Yes, they will.
Oh, yes. I clicked on something the other day, just totally innocent sounding. I thought it was more pictures of along the lines of what I was looking at on the wall. And no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Nothing like what I was looking at. For a second, I almost let myself be offended. Then I'm like, then I shouldn't be here. Click. Get back off. What can I tell you? I have very strong beliefs in a lot of things. Now, all pedophiles should die. If you're a pedophile, die. Die. Get out of my gene pool. But you shouldn't be so quick to be offended. People should work together more instead of working against each other. What I don't understand are the people that seem to go out of their way to be offensive. I'm not a Buddhist, for an example. Never have been. I respect the Buddhist religion. I know quite a bit about it, actually. But I am not a Buddhist. I could not imagine purposely putting up a post that insults Buddhists. That'd be kind of hard to do. But I couldn't imagine doing it, even trying. But people will put up posts because they are atheist. It's a free country. If you want to be an atheist, more power to you. Enjoy it. But they'll put up posts that are belittling people who believe otherwise than they do. You get people who are extremely, we're talking Pentecostal Baptist. Okay, we're talking way out there, Christian. And they'll put posts up insulting other religions because it's not the same. People, this country was founded on the principle of freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. And if somebody has a religion you don't agree with, so Your opinion doesn't mean one whit more than their opinion. You have a dissenting opinion from somebody else, mazel tov, enjoy it. You don't have to rub somebody else's nose in it. I've been thinking about this all week because I've been in the internet a lot. Because there have been a lot of threads I've been following, going on, some stuff that was going on. And I got to tell you, it just boggles my... We've got a moronic midget sitting in North Korea who seems to think if he jumps up and down enough, rattles a saber enough, insults us enough, tells his people enough about how bad we are, that he's going to get his way. And he's not. Somebody's got to tell this moron that we know what he's doing. He's trying to make it, raise as much stink as he can, be as aggressive sounding and threatening as he possibly can be, so that at some point, the leaders of the other countries are going to come back and say, well, tell us what you want. What does it take to make you happy right now? What's your lollipop? And that's exactly what he's going to get. That's the way it always works. It always has worked this way. And it really ticks me off that this cycle keeps going on. It's like rewarding a spoiled brat throwing a temper tantrum on the floor of the grocery store. No. You don't reward the little twit. You march them out, goose step them out to the car. And say, you can sit your happy buddy in here until you can act like a normal human being. Otherwise, I'm going to paddle your butt. I'm telling you, any foreign leader of any country, I don't care where it is, who cares so little about their own people that they would endanger them, and that's what he's doing, by incensing other countries being so argumentative, being so abrasive to other countries who are much bigger than you are, and I don't know, could blast you into a parking lot. That's a dangerous thing to do. It's like a chihuahua chewing on the tail of a tiger. I wouldn't recommend it for the chihuahua's health. That's just me. I wouldn't do it. But people are like this. People are like this. And it just makes me wonder sometimes. I wish there was something we could do. I put on there on Facebook the other day that, what was it? I said something about, I wish we could, the SEAL Team 6 could go into North Korea, sneak in there, spike their water supply with antidepressants. Okay, massive doses of antidepressants. Then we send planes in to buzz the place, blowing marijuana smoke. Okay, we blow pot all over this country. And then when they're all mellow and singing Kumbaya and, just kind of playing games and flying kites and all very happy because that's what would happen, then we have them sneak back in and spike the water supply with acid. Because think of the YouTube videos we could get from this. We could all step back. Hilarity would ensue. It really would.
Possibly.
Oh, it would. I'm just picturing this. All right, we could skip the acid part, but I'm telling you, they need some antidepressant and weed. That's just all I'm saying. This is an entire country begging for antidepressants and weed. Oh, my God. I can say that. I'm sitting in the city, Washington State. It's legal here.
That's true.
We are intelligent and progressive.
We're also allowed to pump our own gas.
We have to. We have to. Which is a weird thing, because if you go to Oregon...
You go to Oregon?
It feels so weird to sit in your car now.
Yeah.
And have somebody else come out and... I feel like I should tip them. I'm so sorry you had to come out and pump my gas. I'm perfectly capable, It's really weird.
They are highly trained professionals.
I'm sure they are. They know where the off switch is.
But they didn't qualify for a job anywhere else but the Quickie Mart.
How sad. And no, I don't want onions on my Big Mac.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, when I was a kid growing up, that's the only way it was done. It was back in the days when there were lots of gas stations, not just the big chains that you see. There were gas wars. The gas would be competitively priced in an area. Really fun. You drive in, go over the little thing that goes bing, bing, make the bell.
Yep.
Make the bell
To
ring.
let them know that they're there.
Yep. And then the guy would come out, usually in a uniform. I
Yes.
kid you not. Usually in a uniform.
Wash your
And,
windows.
Yeah, he would wash your windows while he's filling up the gas. He'd check your tires. He'd check your
Check
fluids.
the oil.
Yeah, your fluids and all this stuff, And usually very nice guy.
And took your money and made your change right there at the island.
Yeah. Didn't even have to go back into the station to do it.
I feel old.
I know, I do too sometimes, really. But I remember when they first started going to the self-service. And I remember thinking to myself, is this going to catch on? I kind of like
But
sitting
back
on my
then,
butt.
there was also that undeniable smell of ethyl in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all the leaded gas.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what's causing all the Alzheimer's in us old folks. All the leaded gas we breathed.
It wasn't the 60s that's causing that?
Probably. Well, and that wasn't the leaded gas, honey, okay?
Yeah, I was told if you remember the 60s, you weren't really there.
Yeah. If you remember the 60s, you didn't have no damn fun. You did something wrong. But I got to tell you, having gone through the 60s, I was a child in the 60s. I really was. But I went to college in the 70s, the late 70s. And I got to tell you, I found out, you know what they do in college? At least back then they did in college a lot more than drugs. Everyone sat around and did drugs. There was a lot of weed, but I mean, there wasn't acid and all
There was
this
a lot
other
of
stuff.
drinking going on in
Drinking!
college.
Drinking. Oh my gosh.
Massive amounts of alcohol.
Tequila sunrises. Oh my Lord. I can remember sitting there and some smart ass would be saying, aren't we supposed to go to class this morning? Oh, shut up and pour me another tequila sunrise. We're watching the sunrise. Yeah. Yeah. But I got to tell you, it's life is what you make of it. And if you want to be offended, if you want to go through life being, a perpetual victim, that's your right. That's your right. This is your life. If that's the way you want to live it, I don't. And I don't think most people do. I think most people prefer to be more positive, more upbeat, more, I don't know, sunshiny, Pollyanna as that sounds. I don't care. But the bottom line is this is the only life we've got. There's no mulligans. There's no do-overs. So what are you going to do? You go through your life being the cranky, grumpy cat. And at the end of it, what have you got? No friends. Nothing to show for your time on this earth? No. I'd much rather be upbeat and happy and getting along with folks.
Just
It's
so
a lot more
happy.
fun.
Just being happy.
Yeah, just be happy. And, that sounds really simplistic, and I know that. But it really isn't. It takes work to be happy in this life. It does. You have to work at it. I know so many people
Well, that just ruined it for me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I do. I know so many people who seem to think that all they have to do is sit back and be cute or be young or be whatever, and happiness will flow all over them. No, it doesn't work like that. If you want to be happy, you have to work. Because you have to not have money worries about how you're going to pay for your apartment, your car, your whatever you have to do, college, whatever. You have to work. But that takes all that pressure off of you for how to take care of the other things that you want to achieve the goals that you need. That's happy. That's happy. You have to work at it. I swear, I get so fed up with people who seem to act like the world should love me. I should have everything come my way. I should get everything that I want just because I exist. People, we call that entitlement. We're not talking about Republicans' idea of entitlement. Oh, no. We're talking about a basic, inherent, bred to the bone sense of entitlement that so many people seem to have today. No, you're not any more special than anybody else. I'm not any more special than anybody else either. But by God, I'm every bit as good. That's what my mama told me. I may not be any better than anybody else, but by God, I'm just as good as anybody else. I don't care who you are. And it's true.
I can agree with that. I like that.
It's true. It's a nice way to think of it to get along with other people,
Because there are far too many people out there that, yes, they live by expectation.
Yeah.
They expect it to come to them because that's how they were raised.
You know, in a way, I'm kind of glad that we've never been rich. We've never, we weren't born into the Libby family or the Astors or something like this, and have all this money. Look at what happened to their kids. I mean, my gosh. Paris Hilton, her grandfather,
Yeah.
the Hilton who did all the work and made all the money.
Yeah.
He has disowned Paris.
Well, of course, because she just went on to be famous for being famous.
She's famous for being Hilton, period. And if it wasn't for her grandfather, Hilton wouldn't mean anything.
Yep.
So let's just go out in public and trash the name and bring shame on the family and bring down what Grandpa worked so hard for.
It's another spoiled brat gone awry.
Oh, there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many. But I'm kind of glad we didn't come from money like that because I'll tell you, I don't think I'd wish that on my kids. I really don't. I don't think I'd wish that on my kids. Because these kids apparently, they seem to act like we have money. We've always had money from their point of view. We've always had money. We always will have money. Don't guarantee that, honey.
Don't forget it. I've met your children.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm saying these kids are rich people. And they seem to act like, we've always had it. We're always going to have it. No.
Yeah.
No. So they think, well, I should be famous. I should be, even more rich. No. I'm tired of us elevating people as stars and idols and people to be admired and looked up to whose entire claim to fame is the fact that they're blonde, incredibly skinny, and have a lot of money. And that's it.
That's funny. You just completely undescribed me.
Yes, I did. Well, I did me too. I'm fair.
Exactly. It's,
Yeah. I said old and bitter. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
I am everything your mother warned you about.
Yeah, absolutely. I am the person that your mother's warned. Every guy out there whose mother said, there's those girls out there. I was one of them. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't change a thing about it. And what is the name of that? That bimbo. I can never remember her name.
I know her.
She's one of the judges on American Idol.
Mariah Carey or Nicki Minaj.
Thank you, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj,
And
yes.
She came on the show, and I do not watch American Idol, okay? But I did see a couple of episodes because my daughter likes it. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, who is this girl? I've never heard of her. I even went on the line and listened to some of her songs, and I'm like, she can't sing. She's really outrageous in her appearance, the way she likes to present herself. And I'm like, why is she sitting here? And I'm telling you, it doesn't take much anymore to be famous. You take reality TV. You take, like, the shows where they take a bunch of people that don't know each other, put them in a house, shake.
Real world, yeah.
Yeah, add nuts and shake, and then just film what happens. There's several of them. There's actually several games.
Then there's the other genre, the same concept, but we're going to put everyone in this house and put a bunch of booze in the house and then shake.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Seriously, what is this? Think about it.
It's what we sit at home and watch.
The problem is we're not the only ones sitting at home watching it. Our kids are watching it.
Yeah.
There are kids out there watching this thinking, wow, look what they're doing, and they're famous, and they're rich, and they live in Hollywood and they're on TV. I want to do this. I want to be this person. Really? You want your kid to be one of these people? I don't think so. I wouldn't want my kids. No. No, I'm sorry. It may sound really, really strange to people, but there are some things it's not worth doing to get the money. There just isn't worth it to get the money. It's hard to explain to people, but it's not worth it. It's kind of like, let's say, take stripping. Take stripping. I've actually known people who stripped. Some of them had very good reasons for it. Some of them were putting themselves through college. That's an old joke, I know. Yeah, they're all putting themselves. Some of them really are.
I strip on the weekends.
Oh, what a frightening thought. What a frightening thought.
Extra money,
They pay me not to, okay? But
yeah, I do better on.
Some of the girls that do this do have small children that they're single parents, and that's just how they make their money. And, hey, it puts food on the table. And then there's ones that do it because, well, they knew it would drive their family crazy. I knew 2 girls who did it simply because they knew it would drive their family crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
And some do it because they like the attention.
Real. What attention? You get attention? Really?
In their eyes, that's attention.
Yeah, that's not attention. That's, okay, what is the old saying? Even negative attention is better than no attention? I guess that bears it out. That bears the story
Yeah,
out.
that usually gets diagnosed as daddy issues right there. So
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Chime in on this. Chime in on this. We're coming up to the top of the hour here in just a couple of minutes. But I want to hear what you guys are thinking about this stuff. Give me a call at 253-617-1440 or log on edgemediasource.com. Log on. You can IM me. It pops up right here, and I can see what you're saying, and we can have a little conversation about it. I really wonder what people are thinking out there. A lot. I do. And just to let you know, if you have a smartphone, and let's see, what is it, an iPod or
iPad,
Android?
or an Android phone.
iPad, they're not too sure about right now, but iPod, the phone, an Android phone, you can listen to our broadcast on your telephone. It's working now.
Yes, and catch the media feed.
Yeah, you can catch the media feed, and you can watch previous episodes of the shows that you like on the station here, and you can watch us live, and you can contact us. You could IM us. What was it he said it doesn't work on? Yet.
Chrome is no what?
He said it doesn't work on it yet. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I remember.
I was busy when you were having
iPad
that conversation.
iPad and most Android supported via telephones, smartphones. You can listen.
Here he is.
Yeah.
On what piece of equipment is our stream not available?
iPads,
Well,
Android, most Android.
Say again?
On iPad or iPod and most Android. iPod
So-
and most Android.
So it's available on iPhones,
iPhones.
iPads. It's working on that. Confirm that. Most Android devices. It's currently not working very well on Windows mobile devices. Blackberries, I don't know about those, but yeah, that's what it's working on.
Does anybody buy those anymore, Blackberries?
Yeah.
New one out.
Yeah,
Really?
they do still.
Wow. Oh, well, okay. I don't feel so old there anyway. But yeah, I think that's kind of cool that people can now listen on their telephones. I'm telling you, we've come so far. It's mind-boggling. And I'll tell you, if you are anywhere near my age, and I'm mid-50s, but if you're anywhere near my age, it's like we have come a millennium just in the last, say, 25 years. I went to school, there were no computers anywhere in the school. None. There was, when you went home, there was one phone in your house, maybe an extension in another room, but it was the same line. It was corded. You couldn't just walk off with it. I mean, wow. Things have changed so much. But not all of it's for the better either, because I'll tell you, when I was a kid, especially in the summertime when you're off school break, your mom opened the door in the morning, you'd go out and come back when the street lights came on. That was your curfew. When the street lights come on, your butt better be back in this house. Come home for lunch maybe if you feel like it. I'm telling you, you could do that back then. Not anymore. So I suppose it's a trade-off. Some of our advances, some of our changes, some of our things that have just boggled the mind, what we've been able to do in such a short, relatively speaking, a short period of time. Some of it is mind-boggling, and some of it is just heartbreaking. We've really gone downhill in some ways. Sad. Well, I'll tell you what, it's the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. There'll be news at the top of the hour, and we'll see you back here for the next hour right after this. Hang in there.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Secretary of State John Kerry met with the president of the Palestinian Authority today as he begins his latest round of shuttle diplomacy between Israel and the Palestinians. NPR's Emily Harris reports from Jerusalem.
Secretary Kerry was here with President Obama last month, then back by himself right after that. His frequent visits are expected to continue over the next 2 months as he tries to revive long-stalled formal discussions between Israeli and Palestinian leaders about coming to a peaceful coexistence. On Sunday, Kerry met Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah in the Palestinian-run part of the West Bank. A senior U.S. official called the meeting constructive. Kerry will talk with other Palestinian and Israeli political leaders over the next couple of days. During this visit, officials are talking, exploring conditions and a possible framework for reopening peace negotiations. Emily Harris, NPR News, Jerusalem.
More sectarian violence in Egypt on the heels of yesterday's gunfight that left 4 Christians and 1 Muslim dead. Assailants fired birdshot and threw Molotov cocktails at hundreds of angry Christians who were staging an anti-government protest today outside Cairo's main Coptic church. Police say 1 person was killed. The country's Christians say they feel more vulnerable since Islamist President Mohamed Morsi was elected. South Korean officials are warning North Korea may be planning a missile test or some other provocation this week. And as NPR's Kirk Siegler reports, Republican Senator John McCain is taking the warning seriously.
Senator McCain says the biggest risk right now is that an accidental war could break out between North and South Korea. Speaking on CBS's Face the Nation, McCain said North Korea would be an obvious loser if it carries out its threats, but there would be no winners either.
South Korea would win. We would win if there was an all-out conflict, but the fact is that North Korea could set Seoul on fire, and that obviously would be a catastrophe of enormous proportions.
McCain says North Korea is up to its same old tricks to get what it wants or it needs from Seoul and Washington. Kirk Siegler, NPR News.
President Obama is due to release his budget plan for 2014 on Wednesday as Congress returns to work after a 2-week break. The proposal calls for adjustments in Social Security and other government benefit programs, which many Democrats oppose, and new tax increases, which Republicans reject. White House senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer warns the GOP they're going to have to accept a compromise.
If the Republicans, particularly in the House, take a my way or the highway approach, then we're not going to get a deal.
Speaking on ABC's This Week, Pfeiffer says Republican lawmakers should remember GOP proposals were rejected in last year's presidential election. The Senate also is expected to debate gun control this week. This is NPR. Visitors to Paris this spring may get the chance to enjoy even more than the usual cultural and culinary wonders the city offers. NPR's Eleanor Beardsley reports they're likely to get at least a glimpse of sheep and bees, part of the city's unusual biodiversity program.
4 woolly ewes shipped from an island off the Brittany coast can be seen nibbling the grass around the Paris Archives building, and other sites are likely to follow. The operation follows a successful experiment last year when 2 goats were hired by the Louvre Museum to mow the lawn at the Tuileries Gardens. The Paris mayor's office says the animals cost half the price of a mowing machine and are great for biodiversity. The city is also part of a new trend across Europe to put bee colonies on urban rooftops. 3 large beehives have been set up on the roof of the French Parliament building. They're expected to produce up to 300 pounds of pesticide-free honey a year and help pollinate the city's flowering plants. Worldwide bee numbers are in decline and bees adapt well to city living. Eleanor Beardsley, NPR News, Paris.
In women's college basketball's NCAA semifinals, later tonight, top seeds UConn and Notre Dame tip off. But currently, Louisville is facing California, and California is ahead, 47-42. This hour at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, this year's Country Music Awards show gets underway. Among the nominees for top categories, Jason Aldean, nominated for Entertainer of the Year.
She's a hot little number in her pickup truck. Daddy sweet money done jacked it up. She's a party.
It's the Country Music Academy's 48th annual ceremony. Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan are co-hosting. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News in Washington.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Hey, it's Kevin with the Outlaw Radio Network. When it came time for the guys with Outlaw Radio to get our tuxes for the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County's Raise the Roof event, we honestly had no idea where to get them. Then we found Judy at Judy's Sewing in East Bremerton. As evidenced by the name, Judy's Sewing does tailoring, alterations, and repair. She also does tuxedo rentals starting at $69, bridal party dresses for $69, and bride's dresses starting at only $189. Plus, we also learned that at Judy's Sewing, not only does she offer military members prices that are lower than they're going to find at the Navy Exchange, she also prioritizes their orders. That means if you're in the military, your needs move right to the front of the line. It's a special touch of service you can only get from a locally based business like Judy's Sewing. Judy's Sewing at the corner of Fairgrounds Road in Central Valley in East Bremerton, right near Handy Andy's. Or call Judy at 360-662-1212. 662-1212. Judy's Sewing, a local business that's proud to support her community.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISBNsports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Lubbock College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISBN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISBNsports.com.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. Let me tell you why I say that I am not your average photographer. At Elaine Terso Photography, I can handle all of your photography needs, including weddings, families, and newborns. I have an in-home studio, or I am able to come to you to take photos wherever you want to be. Mention Guardian Broadcasting when you book, and I will give you a 10% discount. For more information, visit me online at ElaineTersoPhotography.com or find me on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Raw Nerve. If you got questions or comments, give us a call. Area code 253-617-1440. Now back to your host, Susan Corcoran.
Thanks, Dennis. Oh,
you're welcome.
I'm so tickled to have Dennis back. I really am. He and I always had a lot of fun. A lot of fun when we did Word to the Wise. That was fun.
Yeah.
So, just found out I can talk today. I can talk. I really can. I just found out that there is not going to be a live Outlaw Radio Network show today.
Oh.
So we will be done at 7 rather than staying till 9. So just to let you know. Just to let
Honey,
you know.
I'm coming home early.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I love doing this. It really is. Now.
But it's hard to become someone else in, an hour.
Well, yeah.
It still has to sound different. It's got to be something,
A little bit.
We have to have more attitude. And you got to become a guy.
No. No. I've always been so glad I was not born a guy. Thank you very much. I enjoy being a girl. I do. Now, I'll tell you something. I was really mind-boggled. I really was. We all know the economy sucks. Okay, it sucks. No news here. Not just city economies, state economies. Not just state economies, national economies. That's why the budget is so bad right now. States are having trouble balancing budgets. Cities are having trouble balancing budgets. And I understand this. I understand having the problem. But I got to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, there's a limit. The Associated Press did a two-year investigation. It involved more than 100 interviews, 94 public records requests, and a review of thousands of pages of government emails, meeting notes, contracts, actuarial reports, and payroll records, along with more than 30 government data sets. Now, this is what the investigation found. For an example, in Lakewood, just 4 days before Michael McGovern and Greg Hull were set to retire from the Lakewood Fire District, number 2. Their annual salaries jumped by more than $17,000 each. Yeah. Just 4 days before they were due to retire, their salary jumped $17,000 each. Now, why would that happen? Apparently, it was part of a late contract addendum. Bob Brodsky got a similar increase just 13 weeks before he retired, putting each of their compensation rates around $200,000. Now, I don't know about you, but most cities anymore, that's a big chunk. That's a lot of money. Now, the last-minute pay raises cost taxpayers in the Tacoma suburb for only a brief time because it's right before they retired, obviously. But in the long run, they may end up draining a state pension plan of $1 million or more since the adjustments boosted each of the men's lifetime retirement payments by about $1,000 per month. Here's the scam. Okay, here's the deal. There's a lot of agencies that have a particular retirement program, okay? It's called LEOFF One Pension System, okay? And this is a really common, fire departments, police, whatnot like this. They have, now this is for the older folks, these are people that have been in for 30 years plus 1 month. Rather than most retirement systems, which is like the DOD and anybody younger coming into the system, they look at, say, your last 5 years average salary, and that's what they base your retirement on. You get a percentage of the average of your last 5 years' paychecks. Okay, you get an average. Now, what this does is under this pension program, they take the last month of a person's salary, the last check they get, and their pension is based on that last month check. So if they get a huge raise, $17,000 and whatnot, a few days before they retire, guess what? Their retirement bumps by like $1,000 a month that they get. And they're not the only ones doing it. Believe you me. Believe you me. Bronsky and McGovern retired in their mid-50s, and each is now drawing more than $150,000 in pension payments every year. $150,000 retired. And they weren't CEOs of, Eddie Bauer or anything like this. Yeah. There's something wrong with that. Now, Lakewood's case is not an isolated one. According to this investigation that they did, and like I said, it was a 2-year investigation. It's amazing. Amid state and local budget cuts that include salary reductions over the past 5 years, the average first responder retiring into the so-called LEOFF 1 program pension system had a pay rate in their final 3 months of work that was 5.5% higher than the same year before, period. That means the average one retiring got a 5.5% pay raise at the end, right before they retired, than they had, over the year before. That's a heck of a pay raise, just for the average person. in this economy? The problem is a lot of stations, apparently departments, use this as an incentive program to entice people to retire because they want the older folks to retire out, hiring the younger people that cost less because they're just getting started, so they're at the bottom of the pay scale. They haven't worked their way up yet. The problem with this is that while it may save the city a lot of money in the long run, okay, Chief so-and-so over here is going to retire. We don't have to pay him this much money, but this kid's coming in. We don't have to pay him so much money, so we're saving all this. The problem is it goes to the state. The state is the one that mandates and runs the pension program. It comes out of state taxpayer coffers. You're paying for that. I think that's very annoying. Yeah. Raises also helped encourage retirements in places like Kelso and Quincy. Excuse me, same sort of things happened. Meantime, some longtime chiefs in places like Walla Walla and Mason County got big raises right before their retirements, with local officials arguing that the leaders weren't being properly compensated. Well, I'll tell you, if over here somebody's getting this huge pay raise right before they retire, somebody over here that's not doing this can look and say, well, I'm not being compensated properly because this person over here doing the same job I'm doing is getting paid so much more. See how it works? Think about it. Over in Bremerton, right here in Bremerton, a contract clause brokered between city officials and the local firefighters union in 2009 provided a temporary pay increase of 12% to a remarkably narrow group. Lieutenants and captains in the LEOFF 1 system who had served 30 years and 1 month with the department. The usual pay increase according to the negotiated contract lasted only 30 days. During that month, 3 workers retired with salaries that were each roughly $1,000 a month larger than what they were just weeks prior. So the whole purpose of this is to pad that last paycheck to get more retirement pay. I'm sorry, that's not right.
That's cheating.
In my book, it is. And you can say it's an incentive to get people to retire. I'm sorry, people are going to retire. Okay? You got 30 years in, you're going to be retiring here. When you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, which it is, coming out of state coffers to pay these retirements, these inflated retirements, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It made me mad. Bremerton Fire Chief Al Duke at the time said in an interview that the city was hoping to encourage some retirements in order to save on salaries. Bring in younger workers who don't cost as much. Now, he said that officials told the LEOFF 1 retirees that it was a one-time deal and they could take it, but that it wouldn't be offered again. The raises for the 3 workers now cost the state pension system about $30,000 extra a year. That's just for 3 employees. How many employees do you think we have statewide? When you think about it, this is taxpayer money. This is money we paid in.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. And I don't think it's ethical to artificially inflate somebody's last paycheck solely for the purpose of bumping up the retirement. My husband works for the DOD. He has worked for the DOD for 32 years. He knew when he signed on and started working for them that if he worked long enough, X number of years, he got a retirement based on this that would be this much. 32 years ago, he knew this. If you don't like the package going into it, get a different job. I don't know. To me, it smacks of cheating. It really does.
Yeah.
And I expect more people like that.
And other people, would call it thinking business smart.
Well, that doesn't make it right. Just because it's not right to save the city tons and tons of money when you're going to turn around and drain the city or the state coffers.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Well, that's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, auditors previously had come across late raises and challenged whether they were allowed. Yeah. for the statewide pension system, the changes that they're trying to come up with, that they're trying to work out, are going to cost us like $90,000 a year, which doesn't sound like much, but it is. It really is. It makes me wonder. I'm telling you. More of it, and it just irritates me. Just irritates me to no end. Tell you something else that irritates me. Showboating. I can't stand showboaters. Drives me crazy. Good example. Have you heard about all the politicians that are lining up to give back part of their paychecks in solidarity to the sequester victims that are losing part of their paychecks? Obama's done it. A lot of Congress people have done it. Joe Biden hasn't. Of course, he's the only one up there on D.C. right now, I think, that didn't grow up rich. So I don't know. Maybe it's that poor folk mentality sticking around.
Pinch that penny.
Yeah, pinch that penny till Abe screams. But I'm telling you.
I got my job. You better hold on to yours. Even if I'm only the batter up, there's still.
The amazing thing to me, these people are signing up. They're getting in line to give back 5% of their monthly income to the Treasury Department. They'll sign over 5% of their pay. Now, these are rich people who probably don't need it in the first place, right? They're going to give back 5% of their salary. We're giving up 20%. 20%. Like I said, my husband works for DOD. Sequester hits, we're giving up 20% of our salary. Because there's 1 day a week, no more pay. 1 out of 5. That's 20%. Go think about it.
Puts in a whole new light.
It does. And I don't know a lot of people who can take a 20% cut in their pay and not blink. I don't know a lot of people that are in a position, especially in this economy, to be able to take a 20% pay raise and not bleed like a hemorrhage. But these politicians are going to give back these rich politicians are going to give back 5% of their pay to the Treasury Department to be used for good works. Yeah.
Okay, then why not give up what most of these people are having to give up? Give up that 1 day a week.
Yeah, really.
Break it down to what you make a day and cut that off.
Well, just make it 20%, like everybody else has to. You want to show solidarity? You're the one that's got the investment portfolio. You're the one that has the huge savings accounts offshore. You've got all this stuff. No. Make it 20%, which is what the rest of us are dealing with, and then
it's a nice round number.
Yeah, we'll call that fair. But I'm telling you, it's showboating. 5%. I find that insulting. I really do. I mean, heck, I'd like to get a 5% raise. We'll never see that. But they're going to give up 5% of their money. Now, to give you an idea how painful this is, did you know that the Senate Majority Party leader makes $193,400 a year?
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. You have to be rich anymore to be in politics. You've got to be a rich person to get on city council because you have to pay for the advertising, the whole campaign that you have to run to get elected. You have to be a rich person to start with. How is this supposed to impress me? You're going to give up 5%. No, it doesn't. I'm telling you. House leadership. Speaker of the House, $223,500 a year.
Plus
all the benefits that they get. And they are considerable.
And there's kickbacks and all sorts of other things.
Heaven, did you say that?
That are unspoken.
Yeah, unspoken, I'm sure, yes. Because that would be illegal.
But I believe you paid $3,000 for a coffee pot.
Yeah, I really bought. What is it? $700 for a screwdriver and $2,000 for a toilet seat?
For the same stuff we bought at Walmart?
Yeah.
For under $100.
$10 for a toilet seat at Walmart. Although maybe it's like, what's that movie? I was just watching it the other day. Oh, Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they funded the Roswell, New Mexico, Area 51. Yeah, I'm telling you. And this sequester it's really hideous. It's really hideous because it's not just people like us. It's not just the Congress people and politicians suffering. Well, they're suffering so bad, I'm telling you. Cancer clinics are turning away Medicare patients from being treated. Turning them away. Could you look at somebody in the eye, a sick person in the eye, and say, go away, we're not going to treat you, go die somewhere? I couldn't. But apparently these people have no problem. Cancer clinics across the country have been turning away thousands, blaming the sequester budget cuts. Oncologists say the reduced funding, which took effect for Medicare on April 1st, that's when the sequester hit for them, makes it impossible to administer expensive chemotherapy drugs while staying afloat financially. This is their rationale and reasoning behind it. Patients at these clinics would need to seek treatment elsewhere, such as hospitals that might not have the capacity to accommodate them. Not to mention they don't have access in the local hospital. Your local hospital does not have the equipment, they does not have the drugs on hand that a cancer treatment center would have. It says if we treated the patients receiving the most expensive drugs, we'd be out of business in 6 months to a year. That, according to Jeff Vicarius, chief executive of North Shore Hematology Oncology Associates in New York. He says that the drugs we're going to lose money on, we're not going to administer right now. What's your life worth? If you had cancer, God forbid, if you had cancer and you are on Medicare, which means you are an older person, not necessarily elderly, but older, and you went to a cancer center and said, oh, help me, fix this. And they said, we're sorry, we can't afford to because of the sequester cuts. Did Congress not think of this? Did Congress seriously not think of the people who would die? Literally die because of these sequester cuts? That's amazing. I didn't think exactly of this sort of, I knew the scenario would be ugly for across the board for a lot of people. But Congress has people, that's their job, is to find out just who would be hurt by what they do or who would be helped. Are you going to tell me they didn't know? In an emergency meeting Tuesday, Vicarious Clinics decided they would no longer see 1/3 of their 16,000 Medicare patients. So I'm assuming if you're in mid-treatment, you go back in for your next treatment, they're going to say, sorry, can't treat you anymore. Go home and die. That must be an interesting discussion to have, don't you think?
And okay, what kind of person of any sane mode of thinking can do that without feeling guilty or just like total crap? Who gets that burden?
Yeah, and the whole thing. Okay, I understand these companies have to make money to stay in business. Yep. They are a business. Hospitals are businesses. Cancer treatment centers are businesses, just like any other business. However, part of the problem is the fact that drug companies won't make reasonably priced drugs anymore. They won't. They don't look for cures anymore. Used to be drug companies. They got started being drug companies because they were searching for a cure for fill in the blank. Okay. And we're talking all the way back to Louis Pasteur's day. They don't want to cure anything anymore because there's no money in curing people. The money is in treating the disease that people get. Not curing it, just treating it. And if somebody gets an awful disease and they can treat it and they still have it, but, well, they can live with it, then you've got a patient for the rest of their life. And I think this is one of the most morally reprehensible positions to be in. I have a lot of heartburn with drug companies. I really do. There are drugs out there, or diseases out there, people suffering, who can't get any drugs because there's no money in coming up with treatments for them. Wow. What a great country we live in. Tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Raw Nerve. See you in a minute.
Hey, St. Paul, the voice of reason here. Wanted to send a quick shout out to our friends at Pacific Northwest Artisans. They're a custom concrete and design fabrication company. They can do all of your concrete needs. They can do pathways, walkways, driveways, you name it. You need a new foundation, you're going to do an add-on, give them a call, 731-9812 or 649-0987. Again, that's 731-9812 or 649-0987. Pacific Northwest Artisans, all of your concrete needs.
Hey, it's Kevin with the Outlaw Radio Network. When it came time for the guys with Outlaw Radio to get our tuxes for the Habitat for Humanity of Kitsap County's Raise the Roof event, we honestly had no idea where to get them. Then we found Judy at Judy's Sewing in East Bremerton. As evidenced by the name, Judy's Sewing does tailoring, alterations, and repair. She also does tuxedo rentals starting at $69, bridal party dresses for $69, and bride's dresses starting at only $189. Plus, we also learned that at Judy's Sewing, not only does she offer military members prices that are lower than they're going to find at the Navy Exchange, she also prioritizes their orders. That means if you're in the military, your needs move right to the front of the line. It's a special touch of service you can only get from a locally based business like Judy's Sewing. Judy's Sewing at the corner of Fairgrounds Road in Central Valley in East Bremerton, right near Handy Andy's, or call Judy at 360-662-1212. 662-1212. Judy's Sewing, a local business that's proud to support her community. As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISBNsports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISBN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISBNsports.com.
I'm Elaine Terso with Elaine Terso Photography. Let me tell you why I say that I am not your average photographer. At Elaine Terso Photography, I can handle all of your photography needs, including weddings, families, and newborns. I have an in-home studio, or I am able to come to you to take photos wherever you want to be. Mention Guardian Broadcasting when you book, and I will give you a 10% discount. For more information, visit me online at ElaineTersoPhotography.com or find me on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Raw Nerve with your host, Susan Corcoran. We're still taking calls at area code 253-617-1440.
Thank you, Dennis. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. How y'all doing? I'll tell you what. Go to edgemediasource.com.
Here you go.
On the internet. And I am me. You can go to the site and log in and I am me.
If you don't want your voice heard.
Yeah, let your voice be heard. Yeah, that's a good one.
Or just type it in. That's fine.
What do you think of when you think of Seattle? The people of Seattle.
There's so many directions my brain can go
just
right now.
Just kind of makes you sort of, schizophrenic. Your brain just rips apart into two different ways.
I mean, the last time I was in Seattle, I won't tell you what I saw someone doing to a fire hydrant.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's not
right after a Seahawks football game.
Oh, well, okay, that explains it. Yeah.
What did that fire hydrant do to her?
I'm telling you, Seattle is known for tree hugging, Eddie Bauer loving, sandal sock guy. Yeah, nice people.
A great big Port Townsend.
Polite to a fault, okay? And this is generally, believe it or not, this is generally the opinion people have in the country about Seattle. the people. Amazingly, do you know, on Easter, Woodland Park, our zoo here, Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, had an Easter egg hunt, as they do every year. A statement on the Seattle Police Department blotter on Monday says that the hard-boiled tale began Sunday afternoon when one woman reportedly pushed a child aside as her own child was scrambling towards some brightly colored eggs. Police say the two mothers began fighting and had to be separated 3 or 4 times. The fisticuffs left one woman with a bloody nose. Only one mother was still there when the officers arrived, and she said she wasn't interested in pursuing charges against the attacker. Yeah, in Seattle, at an Easter egg hunt, mothers are fighting? That just boggled my brain. It really did. I think I got a cramp when I first read that. This is so unlike us. I'm telling you, it's in the water. It's in the water. This is what makes people go nuts at Little League games. Isn't that sad? Oh, I actually saw a sign on the Facebook the other day that was attached to a gate as you went into a kids' athletic field on the fence. And it said that, basically it said, be parents, act like adults. No fighting, no name calling, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, how sad is it that they felt it necessary to put that sign up there? That's just, wow. Really? It makes you wonder. It really does. Now, go from one thing that boggled my brain to something that made me go, And it did. You know who Casey Anthony is, right? Yeah, little Casey Anthony's mother. The most hated mom in America. Well, she's filed bankruptcy. Which is understandable because she had enormous legal fees she had to pay to get her off from killing her own child. Yeah. Well, now they're going to court. Her lawyers are going to court. They're trying to prevent the creditors that she owes from selling her life story to make money to pay them back what she owes. You follow that? She's not trying to sell her life story. It's a law that she can't make money off her own story here. But, well, I don't know. I suppose she could because she was acquitted. She was acquitted.
I missed something. Who are we talking about?
Casey Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most hated mom in America. But the idea, and believe me, I don't want to ever see anything nice ever happen to this woman, to her, for her, anything. Really, I don't. But this made me it just made me think. I got to thinking about it, and could you imagine, because you owe somebody money, they're being able to go to court and win the right to sell your life story to make money?
No.
The more I thought about it, I'm like, that's a horrible precedent. That would set a terrible, terrible precedent.
Then I should have the right to run them over with a car over and over until I feel justified.
And put this in my life story to make even more money.
Exactly.
Look what she did. She went totally nuts. Don't know what caused it.
I didn't have to go nuts. I was already there.
Well, on the surface of it, when you think, Casey Anthony, fine, go ahead. She doesn't deserve anything nice. But then I got to thinking, it sets a precedent. It sets a legal precedent. So you or I, we, run up money that we owe people for some reason. For some reason we can't pay it back. For them to be able to go to court and get my life story and sell it simply to make money to pay back a debt I owe? No. I thought about this, and the more I think about it, the more kind of Orwellian it gets. No.
Orwellian?
George Orwell?
Okay. So that was just a new word to me. Sorry.
I know.
To clarify.
I'm older than you. I actually read George Orwell. I recognize the reference.
I knew that, but still.
Generally means kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, everyone talks about the younger generation coming along. They're going to be our new politicians. They're going to run our country. They're going to be our doctors, our engineers, and yeah, they're going to be just like it always does. Every new generation comes along. And I'll tell you,
pain in the bottom.
Some generations make me wonder. They really do. This is the saddest thing, I swear. Late last week, Christopher Sharp, a third-year social work major at the University of Houston downtown, was called into Dean of Students Tommy Thomason's office. The dean handed Sharp a flyer printed on both sides. It had been scattered along the university stairwells and tacked up to assorted bulletin boards dotting the campus. It was the first time Mr. Sharp had seen it. The front featured a photo of Mr. Sharp. Hair draped over his shoulders, bow tied and cinched. A giant X slashed across the photo. The caption said, "Want AIDS?" Mm-hmm. Just beneath the photo, it says, "Don't support the Isaac and
From
Chris
NPR News in
homosexual agenda." Now, these flyers were all over campus, everywhere. Really? Flipping it over, Sharp saw that the flyer contained what it contained on the back. In lieu of the hyperbolic histrionic caps, though, there were texts even more inflicting. Sharp's medical records printed on the flyer, his personal medical records, confirming his status as HIV positive. On this flyer. My God. I was initially really devastated that this could happen, he said, he's taken a week to digest the message. What was going through my head was, how quickly can I transfer? No kidding. That'd be my first thought. If I was a college student, something like this came out. Although my first thought would be, wait a minute, how did they get my personal, private medical records? What is that? It's almost like a cartoon in the background. Yeah. But I got to tell you, Sharp, who'd recently spoken openly about both his sexuality and HIV status, had heard that the flyers were floating around. He'd heard mention that someone was handing them out to passersby, but didn't know whether anyone had yet laid eyes on the people or persons who were doing it. He only knows that they weren't expecting anything this despicable. I mean, this is over the line. This was horrific because this all happened when he initially announced an interest in running for student body president next month.
We missed that one.
What?
We had a caller.
Oh,
But
there we go.
I don't know how to answer the phone.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're having some technical glitches. Chrissy444 says no picture.
I fixed it.
Good.
I'm
glad.
rusty.
I'm glad. Well, hang in there. Bear with us because this whole system is.
The picture's back.
The show is new. We're working out the kinks.
The show's new. I'm rusty. This is my first night. After a long break.
Yeah, but we're getting it worked out. Bear with us. That's all we ask. Just bear with us. So, back to Mr. Sharp. He announced that he had an interest in running as student body president next month. He didn't throw his hat in the ring. He didn't say, I'm going to do it. He's just thinking about it. Yes, there are fringe elements within the university, as a university that prides itself on listing Houston's diversity. It's only natural that the more loathsome strains would also find their way onto campuses. And yes, Sharp's both seen and been on the receiving end of the calls of sexual orientation slurs. I'm going to put it that way. But I'm telling you, he said, I've never seen anything like this, and this is the first time anything like that has happened on campus. There's a culture at UHD that is somewhat less accepting of the LGBT youth, that's lesbian, gays, bisexual, and transsexual youth. But something of this magnitude is completely mind-blowing. I knew going into the election that I could possibly be targeted because of my sexuality, but I had no idea it would go to this level. Now, I can understand his horror, absolutely. I would hope that the person or persons behind this obvious slur campaign would be at least disciplined and punished, if not expelled. But what I want to know, who and how did somebody get hold of his personal, private medical records? Especially the sensitive ones. It would be considered a pretty sensitive part of your medical records that says, this person is HIV positive. Seriously. Why is nobody up in arms about this? I haven't heard one person on the news, I haven't heard one thing mentioned about such a blatant and egregious egregious invasion of privacy. And that's exactly what it is.
It is.
Think about it. You go to a lot of trouble. You can't even have somebody, if say you're at the hospital or something like this, you can't even have somebody call and ask, is so-and-so there? Unless they've signed a privacy waiver. You've said, okay, this person can find out about it.
Yep.
But they can find out that you have HIV. And there's the kind of person who would smear it all over campus on a flyer.
HIV, not necessarily. Well, because when you get tested, don't ask me how I know, I just know. They have that option, which they have to ask you. Is it something you want public knowledge, that it's put in all your records and everything else? Or is this something that...
Wouldn't most people say no?
Most, but others are just like, hey, I want it's only fair for those around you to know. It's
Right.
fair to them. Be responsible.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to, yeah.
And it's nothing judgmental about the person that, if they are positive.
Right.
Because
it's not something I think you should be ashamed of, but there's so much...
But no, their business doesn't need to be advertised out on Front Street.
There's so much possibility to harm.
Yep.
If it gets out, because employers could use that to base whether or not they wanted to hire you.
Yep.
Apartments and property managers could use that to base on whether or not they want to rent to you. No.
And the garbage they could do with now, that's terrible.
Yeah. And there's just too much writing on it. It could derail way too much in a person's life. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if it's your medical record saying you have hemorrhoids, hammer toes. I don't care what it is. I don't expect anybody to be able to get hold of my medical records without my explicit permission.
As long as they don't talk about my bunions, I don't care.
Oh, hush, you and your bunions. You and your bunions, I'm telling you.
I don't have no bunions. I do have hemorrhoids, though.
Chrissy says off with his head. Yeah. But it just, sometimes I have to wonder why some people will go so far to hurt another human being. Now, I don't really get this. I'm not that kind of, hateful, hurtful type of person. I've been made angry before. I've been made so mad I could spit rubber nickels. But I still can't see, because somebody's opposing me in a contest. No.
No. But, I mean, okay, I'm not saying it's right, but that's,
I think
the only way is that some people know how to deal with it.
This Sharp kid should get overwhelming support to run for class president. And that would sure make somebody feel bad, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It might make them think twice about ever doing something like this again, too. But I do think the university has some moral obligation, ethical obligation to look into it and try to discipline the person who would do such. Stoop this low, basically.
Yes.
Stoop that low. Because that is really low. That is low. I'm telling you, I wonder about people these days.
Well, we can't say kids these days because...
It's not just kids.
Kids these days came from grown-ups from back in them days, and back in them days, old folks were saying these darn kids these days.
If you look at it generationally, hello.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it that way, yeah. My parents despaired of my generation because we were all a bunch of hippies and
yes,
and the music we listened to is all drugs and all this. Yeah,
and you're doing dope.
No, it wasn't. Okay, a lot of it was, but no, it wasn't all about drugs. And I'm sure
not everything was written by Bob Dylan.
I know for a fact that my great-grandmother despaired of my grandmother's generation because I can remember sitting there listening to the conversation about when my grandmother was growing up, and they thought, she cut her hair. She bobbed her hair. And that was just like, you don't do that.
Back when Glenn Miller was the devil.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Benny Goodman? Oh, no, huh? No swing. But I'm telling you, the point we're trying to make here is the fact that every generation despairs of the next generation coming along of ever amounting to anything. Because they think differently, they act differently, they dress differently.
But essentially the ideas came from...
the parents.
And it comes from a similar thing, it's just being taken and elevated. I understand the things that are acceptable nowadays weren't acceptable in the 80s and, so forth and so on. But it's still,
Well,
maybe not the act itself, but the idea. How can I get even?
Right.
How deep can I go?
Stick it to the man,
Yeah.
My parents don't understand, the sort of thing. But I got to tell you, I hope I'm around. I hope when we get to a point that, you know how people make fun of people now that, you wore a mullet? Oh, look at this, you had a mullet? I hope we get to a point where I can watch people make fun of people. You wore your pants stand around your butt? Really?
What are you talking about? I was saying that today. It looked ridiculous.
I hate this. I really do. And what's really ironic is that, and I've heard, and not just an internet rumor, because it's everywhere on the internet, but I've actually heard this from people I would believe, that the whole thing about wearing your britches down, sagging your britches like the boys do now, started in prison because inmates who were willing to be friendly that way.
Yes.
Let
them know you're available.
Yeah, they were looking for a way to let the other inmates know they were available without tipping off the guards, because you get in trouble for that sort of thing in prison. And this is what they came up with, was wearing their britches sagged down low. Now, every boy I see walking around that's got his britches down around his knees damn near, I look at it and I'm like, really? Really?
In prison, that's
Really?
a booty call.
I do. I just want to go up and say, really? Booty call? Really? I have thought that. It makes me wonder. But, every generation thinks this. But I got to tell you, it does seem like it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. In my day, if you were in school and you had beef with somebody, you got in an argument or something like this, you meet behind the gymnasium after school, somebody goes home with a black eye or a bloody nose. It's done. The fight's over. The argument's over. It's settled.
Yeah.
Now, no. Somebody just drives by in the middle of the night and shoots up your house with an AK-47. Really?
And hope they hit the target.
Yeah, hope. I mean, I know it makes me sound like a fogey when I'm saying that I really, really despair for the young people today, but in some areas, I really, really do. I think anybody who is convicted of participating in a drive-by shooting should be tried on charges of attempted murder, period.
Wasn't that their intent?
Not, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't care. The bottom line is that they didn't care.
Yep.
So it should be, I think that would probably be the worst charge you could come up with.
Without malice.
With malice.
Or with malice.
Yeah, you don't shoot up somebody's house and, I didn't mean to hurt
I was saying, but, they did it,
yeah,
without any sense of...
Well, without thinking, that's for damn sure.
Well, we knew that.
But I'm telling you, it just makes me wonder sometimes that we have a whole generation who seems to think that, and I hate to use a broad brush because I know there's exceptions to everything. It's not everybody. It's not every young kid out there. There's a lot of terrific kids out there right now, I'm telling you. But there's a significant portion of them who seem to think behavior like this is okay. It's all right. There are boys out there who are actively trying to get as many girls pregnant, teenage girls pregnant, as they can because they count them as trophies.
Yes.
On purpose. They poke holes in their own condoms. Really? Have these people never heard of child support?
They have, but they don't care because they're not going to pay it anyway.
Well, I am really, really glad that they've gotten to the point now that where they're really cracking down on non-paying parents who owe back child support. There's not a whole heck of a lot they can do beyond. I think in Washington State, if you get too far behind and you don't make any effort to pay back, they'll suspend your license. And I think it can get to it's got to get really bad before they'll talk jail talk.
It gets up the first time when they get to that point when they're tired of dealing with you. It's 10 days in jail.
Right. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of women out there who have been raising kids for a long time with absolutely no help from the dad. And this is wrong. This is wrong. And if you're the dad raising it, you deserve your child support too. Bottom line. There's deadbeat moms out there just like there's deadbeat dads.
Yes, there are.
And I got to tell you, we need to crack down on this. We need to make it to where there is a pain to it. If you don't, it's going to hurt. Somehow, if you don't do it, it's going to hurt. Because when you've got people running around considering babies out of teenage mamas to be trophies and something to brag about and be proud of, there's something inherently wrong with the system. There's something broke. And we've got to make it to the point that it is actually painful enough that a person who would think like that would think, well, yeah, it'd be cool to have, 15 babies, but I don't want to pay $47,000 a month in child support. Or go to jail for how long, or whatever they come up with.
Because you will give up a lot more than 20%.
Oh, yeah. A lot more. But I could not believe that. I mean, I guess I'm naive in some things. I can't know everything on the face of the planet. But I had no idea that there are boys who actually go around trying to get these girls pregnant as trophies. And I'm like, really? You can't trust anybody anymore sometimes, I think. That's sad. But you sure got to wonder. You sure got to wonder. Oh, my Lord. So, I'm wondering, we're coming up. It is now, the beginning of April. What is today? Lord, I've lost track of the days. It's the 5th, isn't it?
Today is the 7th.
7th. See, I've lost 2 days. There you go. It's the 7th. That means 8 days till you have to file your taxes. 8 days. Are you nervous yet? A lot of people, I'm telling you, things have changed so much, and I'm so glad. Do you remember watching your dad at tax time? Do you remember that? I mean, that is so mentally scarring for most people that it's an easy memory to come up with. Sitting at the table, paper everywhere, calculator.
That's when I hid in my room.
Everybody hid.
Because the look that, was on my dad's face at that time reminded me of when I was in trouble, so I didn't want to get caught in the crossfire.
Everybody hid when Dad did the taxes. You bet. It was awful. It was an awful boxes of little papers and receipts and this and that. And oh, my gosh. It was terrible. I remember that so bad.
My dad didn't like the hassle of having to go get his military ID. So that was a little bit of paperwork.
He must have thought tax time was just, torture.
So a lot of paperwork? Oh, no.
I know. But nowadays, you've got, online tax things.
Yep.
You don't have to go to, I'm not going to say the name of the companies, but, they spin the sign outside the mall.
Yes.
Or where the Statue of Liberty outfit. Yeah. You don't have to go to outfits like that and pay $400 to get your taxes done. You can do them online with programs that you can buy relatively inexpensively.
Yes.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. There's no calculating. There's no, you just plug in the numbers. And it figures everything for you. And it even files. And it's amazing. But I'll tell you, this is still a nervous time of the year. And they are, the IRS is going to be hit with the sequestration, just like everybody else. But they have decided to put it off until after tax season. Because I tell you, these guys they're just burying up their own backsides. They're running around so much right now. And it's only going to get worse closer we get to the 15th. And right after the 15th, I'm telling you. I kind of feel for the guys. I really do. I think it's nice that you can file online now. I really do. I saw the baby go by. I did.
Yes.
It's distracting. That's the cutest little baby in the world. Now, we're coming up to the top of the hour here. And I want to give you a topic that we're going to talk about next week. Okay, I want people to think about it. And I want you to call in next week, or I want you to IM me. And we're going to talk about it. We know the economy sucks right now. Okay, government's scrambling for money. What is your opinion? What do you think should happen to these individuals and corporations who hide their money overseas to avoid paying taxes? American companies, American people. Think about it. I'll tell you what, this has been fun. We'll see you next week, next Sunday, from 5 to 7 right here on EdgeMediaSource.com. I'm Susan C., and we'll see you then. Take care. Thanks, Dan and Steve.